And it says we do it Wednesday on the link because that's what we call it at Chattanooga Valley. And this is the hub of everything that I'm going to share with you today. So it includes the lesson plan and the agenda, the presentation. It also includes the handouts that I've already given you and the survey that we'll take at the end. And so thank you for letting me present to you today. I really appreciate it. And I hope you get something out of Spiral. I love Spiral. I learned about Spiral from the Georgia Tech Conference that I went to last year, and I immediately came back to school and started implementing that. I didn't know if you guys used mentor sentences in your instruction. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about mentor sentences and how I use Spiral with mentor sentences. But I'm going to give you some other strategies to start using Spiral immediately if you want to. But I came back and started using Spiral with mentor sentences in our end of the week routine. What a mentor sentence is one sentence out of a really good, strong piece of literature that serves as a model for students to follow. So we analyze that one sentence all week long. So on Monday, we take a look at the sentence and we recognize everything that we notice from the sentence. Vivid verbs, the type of sentence that it is, compound, complex. We have that discussion about what we notice. Then the day 2 is the day that we analyze all the parts of speech. So everything in that sentence we get to talk about grammatically. And so in that way, we cover the language standards that talk about parts of speech. And we're doing that on a regular basis. And it's actually in an active piece of literature and a structured sentence that's not just isolated, these are nouns, these are verbs. It's actually in working order. On Wednesday, what the student does is they take that sentence and they revise it. And so we talk about what revising means, how you take your sentence and you make it better. Maybe you change the vivid verb, maybe you add an adjective, or maybe create an adverb that can modify the verb or something like that. But we keep the sentence the same, we're just revising it. On the last day, we imitate the sentence. So we keep the same structure, the same formatting, and we make it our own. So if it has a noun, verb, and maybe you got a friend at the window. Hi, friend.
And a runaway on them.
If we have a noun and a verb and maybe a prepositional phrase, then we're going to have those elements, but we make it our own, and that's the place for the kids to get creative. Spiral was a way that I could incorporate a technology component to mentor sentences, using it during that revising day and our imitation day. And I'm going to show you how I did that. So Spiral is a student response kind of tool, but it also creates interactive lessons. So I'm going to show you 3 things from Spiral today. I'm going to show you, first of all, Quick Fire, and that's the first piece on your handouts. I'm going to show you Discuss, and that's the second page. And the last one I'm going to show you is Clip. And I have gotten a ton of response on Clip. They love that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And on the agenda today, I'm going to try to keep very close to our agenda. If you're scrolling down to your agenda, then you'll see welcome and thank you for being here. This particular Spiral link is the one that I do want you to go to today. We're going to have 2 halves to this training. The first one is going to be just me modeling to you how I use Spiral, and you are going to become the student in my classroom. So you can see the student side of what Spiral looks like. What your kids would see. So you're going to experience this as a student, but then also I want you to be able to create an educator account and give it a try. And then at the end, we will have an evaluation and you'll be able to give me some feedback. Okay. So right now, if you would, is everybody able to find the website, first of all?
I'm logging in right now.
Okay.
In the agenda. Okay.
Mm-hmm. In the agenda, you can click on that link, spiral.ac/student/code/UJBKN.
Now it's telling us to log in.
I will help you do that in just a minute. Just as
Okay.
long as you've clicked on that, then I will link you in just a second. So just very quickly, I want to share with you about this collaborative response tool. It is a way for your kids to really work together and give each other feedback without even really having to move out of their seats. It's really nice. I love it. Because it allows them to have discussion. It also gives you the chance to, how can I go back, Patty?
I think you have to go to the computer.
Oh, that's, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, no, that's fine. It gives you a chance to take formative assessment and also maybe the summative assessment opportunity as well, okay? Now I'll go forward. I use them in Wednesday, Thursdays routine for mentor sentences, again, when the kids are revising and when they're imitating sentences, and I'll show you how I do that. And I've also added it to a read aloud routine, and I can't wait for you to see that. You will love that whether you do mentor sentences or not. If there's any kind of short text that you want the kids to be exposed to, then you're going to absolutely love this particular thing that they can do with it, okay? So let's talk about Quickfire first. It's used as an exit ticket. It's a fast formative assessment. You can either plan it or it can be something that you do spontaneously. That's the joy of Spiral as well. So if you're just in the middle of a lesson and you're like, okay, I need a response from everybody, then it's not going to take you very long to come up with a Spiral Quickfire and have everybody respond. That's the joy of it. Discuss also can be planned. It can be spontaneous. I prefer to plan some of my discussions. The difference between Quickfire and discussion is the fact that Quickfire allows you and the student to communicate with one another. You can share Quickfire on the screen with your whole class. But with discussion, students have an opportunity to actually respond to one another via a feed. And so I'll show you that too. You can import PowerPoints into this, so if you have presentations already created, then you can import that into discussion and then give students an opportunity to respond to your PowerPoint, creating an interactive PowerPoint on their laptops, which is pretty neat. And it does allow students to comment. And the last one is Clip. This is an interactive video, and you can create customizable question sets that go with this that include multiple choice, open-ended poll, and discussion. I'll show you that in just a little bit too. And I think that is it. So let's go ahead and jump into this, shall we? Again, if you want to check on your handouts or if you lose your handouts, I do have those available on the website. You can just download those or you can just use them from there. Those handouts are going to be the teacher side. So we're going to jump into the student side for right now, okay? And you should be logged in, or you should be at the point where you can log in to the We Do It Wednesday class. Okay. And I'm going to come around and see what yours looks like for you.
So do I type in this number?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
Okay.
As our name.
Well, the code is already available to you, so you're just going to log in your first name.
Okay.
Your students would do the same thing that you're doing right now. So if you're wondering what your students would see, this is what they would see. And then you would see their names appear on the screen. And I have Lindsay Beck.
I don't see it though. Oh yeah, that's what I see.
There you are.
That's what I see.
I have Lindsay Beck. And
If you click on classes at the top, if you go back in where you were just then,
you don't see it? Let me go back in. Oh, wait, sorry.
and then right up there in the top, right
Yeah, right
corner,
here, classes. There you go. We Do It
Fabulous.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Boom. And if you'll go ahead and click on it, there you go. And so you should see one that says pending or no activities found yet. I haven't assigned you any yet. We're about to do our very first one. I'm going to send you a quick fire, my friends, my friends. Up on the board, you'll see what the teacher screen looks like. So today you'll be able to see the teacher side up here that I am monitoring for you, and you're experiencing what your students would see in the classroom. This is a list of all of the activities that I have created. So this is where kind of your home base would be. You can, however, go to particular classes, and choosing those classes, you can find the student responses to what has happened, okay? You can also choose your student screen from up at the top, and you can see who is in We Do It Wednesday, signed in, and there they all are. Okay. Those are my folks that I had last week too. So, we're going to go ahead and do a quick fire, and this is going to be really easy quick fire. I promise I'm not going to ask you anything very difficult at all. And notice that I clicked the launch button, which is right here on the activity. I'm going to let you do it for the We Do It Wednesday class. I'm going to click go, and I'm going to launch. So now we are ready to go, and you should see it on your screen pop up. If it doesn't, just hit refresh for me.
Fall weekend plans.
Fall weekend plans. There it is. And so right next to fall weekend plans, you'll be able to hit start. And I have Patty and Lindsay and Leah, yay! And we're all ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and click go. This has a few questions, guys, because Quickfire has a variety of different ways that you can ask questions to your students. So you can have open-ended questions, you can have multiple choice questions, you can have poll questions. So we're going to experience every different kind of question. So right now your question is, what are your plans for this weekend?
So many be typing in it.
And now you have an opportunity to type in your answer. So this is an open question for your students to be able to answer. I hope you have some really good plans. I'm looking for some inspiration from you guys. We have all week to think about what we're planning for, right? All right, so I have one student who has answered so far, two students who have answered so far.
Y'all are quick. I was gonna tell a lot more.
They're thinking, okay.
I just
So, this is really the beauty, one of the beautiful things about Spiral is that you can control what your students can see from this end. And I love, love, love this because one of the things that I do in Mentor Sentences to prevent any kind of embarrassment and to really create a low-risk environment for my students is to keep everything anonymous. The power of anonymity is really cool, not just for the students, but for me too, because I find myself sometimes I get into a rut, and I'm always choosing the same student because I know I'm going to get the right answer, or you know what I'm saying? I mean, especially in this time of year, we're really wanting to, let's just get the job done. But the anonymity is amazing. So the other week I was doing my Mentor Sentences, and I chose a student that I don't even know either. I do not know whose answers these are because the names aren't attached to them. And I chose a student, I was like, this one's awesome. And I blew it up and I showed it to everybody. It was a kid I would never have thought to have called on. And it was great. It was a wonderful example. And I was like, shame on me. It was a reflective moment. Let me say that, okay? So that's one of the beauties of Spiral. So you can either show names or you don't have to show names. And it looks like we're going to have worship team fall cookout. Yeah, I want to know what time and place that's going to happen. Going to see the new Nutcracker. Ooh, I forgot that was coming out. That sounds fun. Planning to go to MTSU for a tailgate party with ZT. Is that Zeta? Zeta sorority. That sounds awesome. And so I think all of those are absolutely wonderful answers.
Oh, I got a star.
And so yes, you students get a star. You can't. They love it. They love it, and they fight for those stars. They want those stars. They're like, oh yeah, she liked my answer. The other thing that you'll notice as we do that, as you answer questions, there will be a bar at the bottom that just kind of gives you a visual as maybe you're walking around and monitoring your students, that so many students have answered and then how many kids got the answer correct. So that gives you some feedback. But then you can also show the names, and there are all of our responses. So that sounds great. So if anybody wants to know, Leah is the one who is going to find out who that cookout is. It's going to be great. Okay? All right. And so we're going to ask our next question. What are your plans for the weekend again? And this is a different format. And so this question is not necessarily a right or wrong kind of question, but it's a different way to ask the question. I'm pretty sure this is a poll question. And at this point, we have everyone answered. And so I'm going to reveal the answers. Yeah, that's what I thought. A lot of people are gonna rest and relax this weekend. So that's gonna be exciting. This is kind of dated too. We are right here at Halloween, so I don't really guess anybody's going to a pumpkin patch. So that is the poll question that you can have. And then we can ask another question. What season are we currently in? A cold season or the autumn season?
Or Brandy.
A few other features that are along the bottom of your teacher screen include setting a timer. So if you find that maybe your students are taking kind of lagging a little bit, maybe to give them a little bit of, or maybe even to keep yourself on task and on time, then a timer is also included. Let's go ahead and reveal those answers. The autumn season, yay, well done. Everybody's happy about that. Let's ask another question. Again, all of these are quick fire options. These are you asking the student question and the student responding back to those questions. So it's very teacher-student relationship. What's your favorite autumn meal?
Do we draw a picture on this one?
Yes. So what do you notice is different about this one?
Got all kinds of tools.
It does. This is a draw feature inside Quickfire. And so what I have given you is just a sketch, just a little bitty part of a sketch. And I want you to respond to this question by drawing the rest of the answer. What is your favorite autumn meal? So there are some applications for this, okay? In our last training, one of my math teachers said, actually, I would love to use this for, she teaches 3rd grade, and so she's teaching multiplication with arrays. And she said, I would love to give an incomplete array and use this to have them, maybe give them the multiplication problem and then have them complete the array. That would be a really great thing. She said, too, I would love to maybe have them build an array with that particular multiplication problem, labeling it, and things like that. So there are some applications other than just a fun little drawing time.
That was cool.
My drawing didn't turn out, so I'm typing now.
I like it. Okay. And I love that because not only can you draw, but there are other tools on there to allow you to label and things like that.
Yeah, mine-
Well, I'm
mine
trying to
didn't
do a
turn out
screenshot and then put an image, but
Well, I tried that
Oh,
too, but the
nice.
image
the
didn't
image
go
button
in.
wouldn't work.
Yeah, the image won't let me put one in because I did the same thing. I have it saved on my desktop.
I'll have to look at that and explore why the image wouldn't go in. I'll explore that for you guys and troubleshoot that. So if you would, go ahead and turn that into me. I'm going to set my timer. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 15 seconds.
I'm not sure where you turn it in.
There should be a submit option. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal answers.
I can't, mine's like locked up. Oops, just went to the next one.
And when that happens, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It's all right. So we have some potato soup up here. Potato soup. That sounds good. Was the other potato going to be on there maybe? Because we didn't make it. Maybe. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one.
That's neat though.
What is your favorite autumn meal? And this one might look a little different too.
Now it brought it back.
Oh, did it?
But now I don't know how to.
Look right here.
Where's the
Got
submit?
it.
Oh, where is that mirror underneath that?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, alright.
Just click on it.
is it not the same question?
Is it the same one? Maybe I did it twice. It is the same one. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna
Well,
delete
mine
that
didn't
one and I'm
submit
gonna
that
pull up
last time
5.
anyway, so that's okay.
Here we go. Let's see what this one does. I pushed 5 out to you. What is your favorite autumn food? Okay. This last one, is different in the fact that it is a recording. So another option for your quickfire is the recording. you're going to see at the very top, if you do not have Spiral already open for you to use your microphone, it's asking for permission to use your microphone.
I thought that was spam and I clicked deny.
That's
So
okay.
now-
I went back
Because
and let
now
me
what you
do
can
it.
do is go to your lock right there,
Oh,
and you'll be able to choose microphone, and the selection is
you
allowed.
taught me something new.
All types of
There you
soup.
go, and you're ready to go.
Potato soup. Potato
My
soup.
grandma
There
used
you
to
go.
say,
Fabulous. Now, when you're planning these, one of the options that you can also do with this, come in, hi friends. Hello, friends. One of the options that you can do with this too is to add possibly an image, maybe from a book that you're reading, maybe a picture book that you have had, or a text that you're reading, and have the students describe that scene. Another one that I have seen is that maybe you have a student that, maybe you wanted to assess some fluency on a particular group of students. So you give them the fluency passage, they read the passage, and you have that available for you as a formative assessment. And then sometimes it's just cool to be able to hear the student.
And you're ready to go. Potato soup.
Potato soup, Sally. I
potatoes.
think that sounds great. So, those are the
recorded on
quick
mine.
fire options that you have. So there are 5 different quick fire responses that you can ask your students to give to you, which really allows you to differentiate for every student, actually. Maybe not every student, but most students. How about that? This is a really cool screen because what it shows is it shows your ending data, and aren't we always data driven? And so this particular data includes how many questions were asked, how many responses were received, and then the overall performance if you had your graded responses in there. A lot of what we did was just open-ended. So that's available to you. But also, at the bottom here, you have the grades and the responses that your students have given, and I'm moving a little fast. But for every question, you have a list by question option so that you can see how your students responded. You can also list by student. So if you were wanting to specifically look at Leah's responses, then you have all of her data, all of her answers for that particular quiz there, but then it also gives you a grades table. Let's see if I can click on that. A grades table. Yep, and there it is. So there's all of your grades across the board.
That is so cool.
So you can analyze your data. So that is Quickfire. Again, what makes Quickfire different than the other two is just the teacher-student relationship. It's just between us. That makes discussion a little bit different. Discussion is different in the fact that it asks you to actually respond to your peers. Let me pull that up. Pull it up. We're going to go to fall adjectives. And we're going to, again, I pulled up the activity, and now I'm going to send it to your class. I think I'm going to send it to your class. There we go, launch to We Do It Wednesday, and I'm launching it out to you. So now you should see it either appear on your screen, or you should refresh and it should appear on your screen. And
I'll have the
Lindsay is
prompt for me to put my eyes on you.
in. Lindsay is in. What?
It says, pay attention to your teacher.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? It's very cool. Leah is in.
So I was supposed to join the activity?
Mhm.
She's in, I'm sorry.
Yes. And then Patty's in. And now I'm ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and go. This is a slideshow that I just put together for this particular training. You can create slides inside Discuss, or you can import the PowerPoint slides that you already have prepared. Okay, so this is one of the options that you have. And what are some adjectives you could use to describe fall? What are some adjectives you could use to describe fall? So this is your
Were
first
we just supposed to
question.
put one, or we need to put many?
As many as you wanted. the way that the screen operates is that I don't see your responses up here right away. I can tell whether you're responding or not, and I can also see when students kind of take their answers away as well. So I'm going to reveal answers. Answers being edited. And no answers yet. So for the teacher view, I can actually get your answers up here as you give them to me and send them in. And there we go, there they are. But for you, as a student, you have a split screen. You have that split screen vision, so you're seeing the PowerPoint and you're also seeing the answers that your peers are also giving, okay? So we have rich, crisp, lively, I like that, that's awesome. Okay, I want to try this and make sure that I'm right in telling you this. But for this particular quickfire, this is just a one-way quickfire. Leah, if you'll scroll down for me, please. Can you click on Lindsay's? Yep. So with this particular, not quickfire, discuss, that's the whole point, is the discussion of it all. And so as you go through and look at your peers' responses, you can click on your peers' response and give them feedback. So Lindsay, you just got some. So up here on the screen, I'm going to show the names. And Lindsay has one comment, and now she has two comments on her screen that we can review and see. We both said crisp. Love some of your adjectives. So your students can then respond to one another. Public service announcement. Prior to any student giving any other student comments or feedback, give a mini lesson on comments and feedback. Okay?
Good point.
Give a mini lesson on comments and feedback. Be very specific on what your expectations are.
I
Be very,
failed to
very
do that during my first Google Classroom. I got a lot of responses.
Be very clear on what you want them to do. So be pointed in what kind of comments that you would accept and what kind you won't, and then follow through with that. So commenting is really cool, actually, because you can review what everyone says, and I think it's fun too, Patty. Love it, follows fun. And so it makes it more interactive. Here, let's do our next slide. Now, use the adjectives from the previous slide, and no, I did not go back and correct that spelling error, to write one sentence. I'm showing my humanity to you, right? To write one sentence, can you use all the adjectives in one
I
sentence?
think I can.
Can you use all the adjectives? Let's see.
I can't remember my
I
address.
remember my adjective.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Let's go back and review our adjectives. Okay, so can you see your adjectives here?
Yes, let me make myself a
Okay.
screenshot.
So let's review. Oh, I like that idea. Great idea, Lindsay. Screenshot that bad boy. And now that you have your adjectives, let's continue. Okay? And I'm going to take my slide away so that we can see your answers as they're revealed. I'm going to set my timer. Let's see who can do it in 30 seconds. It's tough. Wow, y'all are amazing.
I'm so impressed.
This is a fun game.
That's short. One more.
Oh, it said it without me
It took
knowing.
it. Because she has the timer.
I have a timer. Okay, so what happened when the timer stopped? What happened?
I didn't hear it.
I was
It
short.
stopped.
I was fixing up. Is
So-
it up there, or it just took it out at all?
I bet, let's see. It
Did not
should,
let you respond.
does not let you respond. It locks you out.
Yes, it does.
And so you're
It was a pretty
done.
good sentence.
It
So
did
you're
what
done.
mine did
So
when
Leah
I
is
did
our
not.
winner. Whoop, whoop,
Oh,
whoop.
Leah is.
No.
Mm-mm.
No,
Lindsay.
it was Lindsay.
Oh,
Lindsay,
my last
yes.
We both used crisp.
Let's get, I can't get to it here. Let's do it.
Lindsay is the
I
winner.
am thankful for the crisp, beautiful fall this year. It's been enjoyable and busy. Ooh, I love the use of your your semicolon.
I know.
That's beautiful,
She
Lindsay.
did the one sentence. I was trying to get
Nicely done, nicely
That
done.
was
So
good,
the
Lindsay,
timer
yes.
locks everybody out. The other option that you have here, by the way, is to
The strong survive.
unlock devices. So now you two have an opportunity to respond because I've unlocked all the
Oh, it's there
devices.
again.
So now you're ready to. So let's hear what you have after seeing Lindsay's model. Let's see what your responses are. You said you only had one word left.
Yeah, I was short, one word.
Short one word. Okay, so let's see what you guys
I
have.
can send you what I have.
You can do it. Yeah, do it.
I
Do it.
didn't quite get my last.
Oh, but it's so beautiful. Let's see what it says. The
Uh,
lovely moon cast a rich, lovely hue on the field. That crisp, windy night. Oh, that's great.
I was gonna use lovely twice.
Jane
I
Eyre.
was editing.
I was about to say romance novels much.
We're gonna call you Jane.
And then let's see. The colorful tree is full of orange and yellow leaves. Another semicolon. I love the modeling.
Did you steal that from me? Yes, you did.
I love the font.
I'm
That's
sure
so
this
fun.
is
I
a good
can't read the
sentence.
rest
I don't
of
know
it.
if this is truly a good sentence, but I got them all in there.
That's awesome. And so at this point, I would say, oh, that one is correct, and that one is lovely, and I'm going to pick on Leah and say, you missed a word,
I missed
Leah.
a word.
Can you add it to it? Try it one more time.
Oh, Lord.
Try it one more time.
Oh,
So
man.
what I did for Leah there was I sent it back to her. And the improve button is what you click to send the word back to the student. So here's the other beauty of that in anonymity. Being anonymous, you're able to address issues inside whatever work you're working on. It does not pick on the kid. It does not point out their flaws. It does not embarrass. And other students are able to give feedback either verbally or either through comments, depending on how you set up your discussion. And then they're able to improve their work, to try again. It's active, formative, engaged assessment. Boom. And then you're able to see actually how they corrected their sentence. So let's see how they did.
I tried.
Did you watch Dr. Vega's independent learner thing off Twitter?
I don't know.
Well, you
I'll have to-
friend her. You totally need to get on there.
Is
I
it
should
awesome?
probably ship me those. But it's about this. Like
Is
it's
it?
about being able to individualize tech.
Oh,
And
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch that,
Very
Dr.
good.
Vega.
I was
Shout out to
No,
Dr.
really, I saw it
Vega.
today.
Oh,
So
Bye,
okay.
Lindsay.
Awesome. So
Poker bet.
you're suggesting. Okay, got it.
Yes.
My favorite memory this fall was how the moon cast a rich, lovely hue on the field one crisp windy night. I love that cast.
Yeah, I do too.
Nice.
Ow, ow.
Vivid verb there.
Yeah,
That's
Miss
great.
Aldridge.
Jane
That's nice.
Austen.
I'm correct. That one's correct there. That's great.
She doesn't even teach at the school.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you're doing this, are you actually at the smart board or the Promethean board?
Yes.
And you're looking at the responses right then and there and
It's
doing,
live.
and you're
Just like we're doing
Does it
this.
overwhelm you with like
This is-
27 of them rolling in?
No, because they stay very organized on the
Okay.
screen.
it's easy to quickly.
Yes, you can read them as they're coming through. And I think that's just part of the design though, the questions that I'm asking, not just the mentor sentences or the sentences like what you're writing to me, but also just the design of the questions I'm not asking for them to respond using a race strategy, right? So the
Right.
types of questions that I'm asking are going to be ones that give me a quick view of their understanding overall, but then also may go ahead and generate other conversations that lead to another task or assignment. Does that make sense? So that goes into a little bit of strategic thought for
I
planning
think you
the
got a
question.
4 in differentiation.
So, for this next one, I don't know, I'll have to think about that one. For this next question, actually, I think that's all the discussion that I want to share. I'm going to skip that last one, so I'm going to go ahead and end this there. And I'm going to show you the last spiral strategy. Again, you get to see all of your data listed by student, listed by question. You can go to the grades table if you attach scores or things to that, okay? So here we go. The last one I'm going to show you is CLIP, and you are going to love CLIP. I promise you're going to love it, oh my goodness. I'm actually going to show you 2 clips. The first one is fall recipe. We're
Can I
going to
use
go
my screenshot?
till we do it Wednesday. All right, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about CLIP as it's pulling up. It's waiting for you to join, and then we'll get started. Again, you'll hit your refresh, and it should add you to this group. So I've got Lindsay, Leah. CLIP is where you take a video, either one that you have created yourself and uploaded to YouTube, or a YouTube video, and you can create an engaging, interactive set of questions that go in at particular times of the clip. This is the easiest thing to make. It's going to blow your mind when we do it in a minute, how easy it is to make it. You're going to love this, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click go. And you have your first response. So we're going to talk today about pumpkin puffin muffins. In this particular recipe, you are going to be learning about how to make pumpkin muffins. And your very first question is already delivered to you.
Ooh.
At strategic times during the video, you can stop the video and ask for your students to respond to a variety of different questions. This is the first one. And
Love this for comprehension.
what?
Comprehension.
Absolutely.
You mean you can
And
have
we're going to
RTI.
reveal the answers, and let's see if you're right. Pumpkin muffins! Well done. We're going to continue watching the video. Two eggs. And here's your next question. If I have 2 eggs in this recipe, but I want to triple the recipe, how many eggs will I need altogether?
I'm a vegan, doesn't matter.
Uh-oh.
Hey!
Bringing
you
in
want
that
me to do
math. Bringing in that math.
B,
Ooh.
6 eggs. Oh, it looks like we have our answers coming in. C, 1,244 eggs. Or D, I am vegan, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and you're right. B is correct. That is absolutely correct. Now, what's cool about this is that it does stop at those certain times. Not always does it stop. There are some discussion questions that you can ask that the video will just keep going and students respond as the video continues. But you can also pause the video at any time that you want to. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Here we go. For instance, I'm going to pause right there. As the teacher, this is what your students would see when you're running this particular clip. If you are running it as a teacher-led task. The joy of CLIP, though, is that you can actually assign it to your students, and they can watch it independently on their one-to-one Chromebooks or laptops or devices or whatever you're using. So they can put in their earbuds and they can watch the clip and respond without doing this up here. So that's pretty cool. You'll notice, too, at the bottom that there are points where you'll see the questions come into play. So we have a big long stretch right here before the next question, and then I think that's the last one. So your students would be able to really see when they need to be paying attention as they progress through.
So very visual.
So very visual, and for your students who may have difficulty staying on task or really focusing, they can see their progress that they're making there. So hey, I really need to pay attention to what's coming up. I have a question that's going to be asked of me. So. And we have our next question. What could be another way of saying well combined? Well combined. Nice. Blended could be one. Smooth without lumps. Mixed. Excellent. I love all of those. That's well done. Those are great answers. Great job. Let's keep going. How many of you were thinking, I can't wait to make these muffins?
I know. I'm thinking. I need to copy this recipe.
Need to get this down. Taking a look right here in this void of questions that we have, are any math questions coming to your mind right here? Any math? What could be a really great question that I could insert maybe right there?
Could do an array question.
Oh, absolutely. We could absolutely do some multiplication here. That would be nice.
How many muffins do you think your mix will make?
Oh yeah, estimation. That's great. I love that one. That one's awesome. I like it. I should have brought some of those for you, right? Next time. Now, at this point, you may notice that a discussion question has come up. Has anybody seen that yet? Okay, and so the discussion question is up, but the video is continuing to go. And so the discussion questions, and I've paused it just to give you some attention to that, but for your students, they would need to be really paying attention to that discussion and then applying their answer to it. So what kind of change will occur when heat is applied to the mixture? Will it be a chemical or physical change? How do you know? And then their feed, I'm going to pause it again. Their feed comes up on the screen. Your feed comes up on the screen. Continue watching the video because I didn't have some of you give an answer to that one, that last one. And Lindsay's helping us out. A chemical change is taking place to the muffins are baked. They cannot return.
When, not with, sorry.
When? Okay. It's
No,
small,
no, I'm saying
they,
I typed with. You read it right. I meant
They
when.
cannot return to their original form in liquid. A liquid once baked. There we go. The best kind of change they become. What'd you say? Amazingly yummy. I love it. That's awesome. That is fabulous. Thank you, Leah, for that. Chemical. Absolutely great. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Lindsay said it all.
And then we finish, and then we finish the clip. And so that is done, finished. Okay. Again, as with the other two kinds of responses, you can look at how your class performed, overall performance. But then I want you to take a look too. I did not point your attention to this, but I want you to go ahead and scroll down. If you scroll down, you'll see your responses. So your students can do a little bit of self-reflection at this point. They can look and see which ones they had comments on, which ones, how they answered questions, if I starred any of them. So that is that. So right now, what I want you to do, because I would like for you to sign out of Spiral as a student, okay? And while you're doing that, I'm going to show you again just some really cool things with Spiral as far as a teacher is concerned and your layout of what you're going to see. One of the things I want to tell you is that Spiral is free for you to use. You can make all three of the tools that you can do all of those things that we just did for free. I did go ahead and purchase the Pro for the year, and no, I don't remember how much that was. And I also don't remember exactly why I did it. I think so I could have multiple classes and have more than two. I think you're allowed to have two, maybe three at the most. But I wanted the option to be able to have more than that. And I want to say that Team Up might be another one that comes in handy. Everything else is available to you. Okay, so in this tab, I have plans, I have active lessons, completed lessons, and then I have ones that are shared. Another really awesome piece of Spiral is that you can share your questions or your lessons across to different teachers. So if you have common planning with other teachers, then you can share those resources with them as well. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to log in as an educator. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create our own. Oh, good. I like that, Leah. Go back to that for me, will you? the pricing list. And so there you go, it was $50. But for free, it tells you, oh, you do get unlimited kids for that.
You get the quick fire light.
Quick Fire Light, but you don't get the others? Oh, rats. Okay, well, my mistake on that one. They did an update 2 weeks ago, and so there we go. Well,
Do I have
we'll see if we
to
can work around that.
cancel it after 60 days? Do I have to remember to do that?
I don't think so. Mm-mm, I
They
don't
didn't
think
ask
so.
me for card information.
No. You don't have to. So Quick Fire Light, so let's try that one. So let's go ahead and create our account and see if we can make a Quick Fire Light together. Quick Fire. You can put in whatever email that you want to use, your password.
Did you import it from Google Classroom?
That's another beautiful thing. If you are already using Google Classroom to manage your class, then you can import your class list from Google
Oh,
Classroom.
that's nice.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So if you're using that as your SMS, then you can bring those kids right into Spiral. It's lovely. And then they will have a unique class code that goes with them.
Just like,
That when they log in, they use that particular code, and they're in like Flint. It's great. Okay, it's great. All right. So at this point, let's try that Quick Fire. So this is going to be that very first sheet that you have in your handout that we can try our Quick Fire Light. And all that you do is at the top of the screen, you're going to choose that Quick Fire Light. Click Go. You can add a class, you can import from Google Classroom. I've already created my class from Google Classroom, but if you wanted to do that now, that would be a great thing to go ahead and try to do now. So import your student from Google Classroom if you have
mine
those.
wouldn't let me, but I'm betting that I have some setting on that won't let it pull it.
On Google Classroom?
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's just kind of annoying. Your browser has pop-ups.
Okay, so let's go right over here to your pop-up here, and we're going to always allow, and we're going to say done. And then, let's try it one more time. So click that X. Yep. And then import.
There we go.
That's it.
Good thing 'cause I locked myself out of my
No, it's an automatic response from your browser just to keep you safe.
I'm having to create, because I don't currently have
A classroom?
I've recently created one and I forgot my password and now it won't let me reset it. So I'm gonna join again as something, can I just join as another person?
Yes, I think you can. I think you can. So maybe go to register.
Register,
Mhm.
account. I don't know what I use for that. So I'll use my Google account.
Okay.
My personal one,
Sounds
email,
good.
I mean.
And it will, and then sharing the school name gives you an affiliation with North Lafayette Elementary School, so you can actually find other teachers that are on, that are within your community here that have that on there.
Okay.
So you can finish the quick fire there. And okay, so go back to Untitled Quick Fire. There you go.
I can import from Google Classroom.
Okay, go home. And then go to your From All Classes and Beck Math. And completed lessons, because we just did that quick fire. And we can review it from there, so go back to review. Alright. Oh, I see, so we didn't ask any questions. So go to launch. And then students would log in, so I'm gonna log out, I'm gonna log into your classroom,
Okay,
So I can
I
do
I
it.
can read you the code.
so I can be one of your kids. And the way that your kids would do that is, okay, so I went to Spiral, I'm gonna show you that one more time. So if your kids are saying, well, I've gone to Spiral, where do I go now? Right up here is log in using code. And so your students would be able to put in your class code. So-
CGJMT.
Enter, and I'm going to log in as Laura. And I'm gonna go to start.
Yeah,
Okay. And then from here with a quick fire light, this is one of the things that I was talking to you about earlier, that if you just have a question you want to share with your entire class, let's say that you're talking about prepositional phrases, and you want a prepositional phrase, so you say, okay, so give me an example of a prepositional phrase. We've talked about the elements that you have to have in a preposition. It starts the prepositional phrase and it ends in a what? Give me an example. And so your students would be able to then answer. I'm going to go to that first question. And Lindsay, at this point,
I'm gonna hit launch.
you hit launch. There you go.
Do I hit go with it too?
Yes. And Laura is able to answer. A prepositional phrase always ends in a noun or pronoun. Like in, and I'm going to give you an example because that's what she asked me for. Like in for a puppy. I asked for a puppy. And then I submit it to my teacher. And then Lindsay is able to review my work and give me feedback on that. So you're either going to tell me I'm correct or you're going to tell me to improve it. If you hit improve and let's just see what happens. You've been asked to improve your answer. And so now I'm going to improve my answer by giving her another one. I ran down the hallway. Ooh, delinquent. I ran down the hallway. And then maybe I'll get a gold star. Okay. So quick fire. Quick fire.
That's really cool.
All right, at this point, what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have any other questions about Spiral, then I want to get those answered, but the way that I want you to ask me those questions is to maybe write those down on a Post-it note, because I value your time, and so I'm going to keep on it. Write them down on a Post-it note or shoot me an email, and I will answer those questions for you. But right now, I want you to return back to our We Do It Wednesday website, if you don't mind. And on that We Do It Wednesday, there is a survey instrument that is there that has the Spiral Evaluation Survey. There is the survey that's on this screen, but if you can't see that or if you're having difficulty accessing that particular evaluation, there's also a link that you can click here. And it should allow you to respond to those. I'm hoping that it should collect your email. If you will make sure that it's collecting your email, I would appreciate that. And I thank you for letting me present to you today for Spiral. I hope it's something that maybe you're interested in and that you can put into place. If you have any other questions, or I can help you in any other way with how to implement it in your classrooms or try it out or give it a shot, then I would be glad to help you out. And I appreciate you being with me today.